Hello dear students, today we are going to learn about Alzheimer's disease. Some of you may have known about this disease or some of you may have seen patients of this disease also. But before going to the topic, let's see a learning objectives. Students will be able to understand the disease, apply the basic pharmacological knowledge in the treatment of disease, understand the chemistry of drugs with respect to their pharmacological activity. So, let's begin. AD, it is also known as SDAT, that is senile dementia of the Alzheimer type. It is the most common form of dementia. It is incurable, degenerative terminal disease. In 1906, Alois Alzheimer, a German psychiatrist and neuropathologist, first described it and hence named it Alzheimer's disease. Let's see its definition. AD is a slowly progressive disease of the brain that is characterized by impairment of memory, eventually by disturbances in reasoning, planning, language and perception. Most old age people, that is over 65 years of age, shows symptoms of this disease. Symptoms are loss of memory, dementia. Scientists say that it can be caused due to beta amyloid plaque development. Now, what is this beta amyloid plaque? It is a toxic material which develops in the neuron, which causes subsequent neurodegeneration, or it can be due to inflammatory and oxidative stress processes also. To understand the disease better, let's see, as it is a neurodegenerative disorder, brain plays a major role here. So you can see the difference between normal brain as well as AD's brain. We are talking about amyloid plaques, so you can see that how these amyloid plaques look like. These amyloid plaques which causes neurodegeneration. Here you can see that how healthy neuron looks and how this healthy neuron when converts into tangles or plaques looks like, which ultimately leads to the shrunkening brain, which ultimately leads to Alzheimer's disease. One more diagram to show you about amyloid plaques. Mainly two areas majorly affected by Alzheimer's disease. They are memory and language. Let's see its signs and symptoms. So, it is divided into three signs and symptoms, that is mild, moderate and severe. In mild, the symptoms are disorientation, impaired recalling, insight diminished and irritability occurs. In moderate, this disorientation increases further, poor judgment occurs, patient becomes aggressive, he becomes or she becomes restless, sleep disturbances occurs and it ultimately leads to psychosis also. In further development, in severe cases, it causes language inability or talking improperly. It also causes urinary and fecal incontinence. This is the patient who has Alzheimer's disease. So you can see that he has wearing a t-shirt having his details on it. This is essential because the patient may cause himself injury from wandering, causing violent behavior or unsupervised activity. So AD patients should be always supervised properly. Now, before moving further, let's reflect about what we have learned so far. This is the question for you all. Question is, at what age Alzheimer's disease usually begins and is it genetically transmitted? So students, pause the video, reflect upon it for 1 minute, write the answer in your copy. After completing the answer, you start the video. Yes, students, we have learned that symptoms are seen in mostly old patients or people above 65 age, but early symptoms begin between age of 30 and mid 60s. First symptoms vary from person to person. Main risk factors for disease are lack of exercise, smoking, depression, and poor education. Second question is it genetically transmitted? The research shows that yes, disease appears to be passed down through the mother's genes. Now let's move to its treatment. Alzheimer's disease occurs due to the decreased level of neurotransmitters, particularly acetylcholine. Acetylcholine level decreases in Alzheimer's disease. So that's why the treatment which is available is these two major agents, that is NMDA antagonist and cholinesterase inhibitors. There are other behavioral therapies are also available, but these two plays a major role in treatment. First one is NMDA antagonist, N-methyl D-aspartate antagonist. Glutamate, it is the principal excitatory neurotransmitter in brain which acts on post-synaptic NMDA receptors. Glutaminergic overstimulation may result in neuronal damage, that is excitotoxicity, which leads to dementia. Example is memantine. This is memantine. This is the structure of memantine. It is a novel NMDA receptor antagonist. It is moderately clinically efficacious. It acts on glutaminergic system by blocking NMDA glutamate receptors. Second category is acetylcholinesterase inhibitors. As I told you, acetylcholine plays the major role in Alzheimer's disease. So these agents prevents the breakdown of acetylcholine in brain. Acetylcholine plays a major role in memory and learning, which we have already seen that in Alzheimer's disease these two parameters plays a major role. Higher level in brain helps nerve cell communicate more efficiently. Examples are donzepil, galantamine and rivastigmine. This is the structure of donzepil. It is the acetylcholinesterase inhibitor. It is also used to increase the cortical acetylcholine level also. Second example is galantamine. You can see the diagram of galantamine. It is priorly used in the symptomatic treatment of polio, but later developed in Alzheimer's medication. Another advantage, it is also stimulates N receptors to release more acetylcholine in the brain. Third example is rivastigmine. This is the structure of rivastigmine. It is used in the treatment of mild to moderate dementia and also dementia due to Parkinson disease. One more newer example I have put for you, that is caprolidine, which is also called as 1-octine. Its mechanism is brain imaging scans in older patients shows that dramatically decrease uptake of glucose, and we already know that brain requires glucose for energy. So to replace these depleted glucose levels in Alzheimer's disease, this capryl triglyceride is given to the patient, and this capryl triglyceride converted in the liver into ketone bodies. We already know that ketone bodies is the alternate fuel for brain cells. Ketone bodies which are developed or which are used when we are on an extended fasting. So this ketone bodies may protect the neuronal cells. So this is all about Alzheimer's disease. Thank you very much, student, for patiently listening.